It won't be long, hopefully, until we have to say goodbye to Tory loudmouth Jonathan Gullis. So let's make the most of the time we still have with him by looking at some special moments, like this time when he challenged Gary Lineker to a fight. It was a political one.
I've got one other thing I want to ask you about while we've got you. Gary Lineker, you've had a bit of a spat with him, right? You complained about him signing an open letter against the Rwanda bill. He then tweeted to say Jonathan hasn't read the new guidelines, the BBC social media guidelines, or should I say, had someone read them to him?
Well, Gary's constantly trying to get lots of likes on Twitter, or X, sorry, as it's now called. I mean, ultimately, I've written to the Director General because the incoming chair of the BBC said he in himself thought this was a potential breach of the social media guidelines. The Director General seems to have just done a whitewash. So clearly Gary Lineker either runs the BBC or the Director General wasn't too scared to actually stand up to him. But if the BBC's name is going to keep getting dragged through the mud and embarrass all the many presenters, both in my local news reporters, radio presenters, who have to live by a very different set of rules to Gary Lineker, then ultimately he will do the job that I think we should do, which is see the BBC no longer funded by the taxpayer, and then it can do what things like Sky do, which is actually be allowed to have maybe reporters have more public opinions, obviously within the Ofcom rules that you're guided by. So I think Gary just needs to spend less time virtue signalling and more time talking about football, which he's actually very good at. But it's just a shame that he seems to think that he somehow is a career, politician in making. And as I've said to him, if he's really desperate to get into politics, Stoke-on-Trent North, put himself on the ballot paper and we'll let the public decide.
What, you think you beat Gary Lineker then, do you?
Absolutely.
OK, bring it on. Over to you, Gary. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Jonathan Gullis.
Click here for a tour round Stoke-on-Trent with Gullis.